My name is Lee, and I'm the director of the Literacy Network.
Buenos días, bienvenidos acá a nuestro taller. Ella es Victoria, ella es la directora del programa de tutores de LIT.
And this is Daisy. Daisy is a college student, a first-year college student, and she works at LitNet as the first-generation college coordinator.
Yo me llamo Daisy Escobar, yo soy estudiante universitaria, yo estoy en mi primer año, pero también trabajo con ellos como coordinadora de los estudiantes de primera generación.
So we're excited to bring this workshop to you today, the first one of its kind. We've learned that in the community there was a need for this workshop for Spanish-speaking parents. It's very hard information, so we wanted to help you better understand.
Sabemos la necesidad que hay este tipo de talleres sobre la universidad, sobre la parte financiera y cómo aplicar en español para los padres. Por eso queríamos tomar esta iniciativa y empezar con este taller.
And we're grateful to the Berkshire Taconic Community Foundation. Amy is here today. She's in the back. They paid money. They supported today. They sponsored today. So we'll have lunch, and they're helping pay for the presenters in the space. So we're thankful, and they will talk later about scholarship opportunities as well, Berkshire Taconic.
Estamos muy agradecidos porque Amy Taylor de la Fundación Berkshire Taconic hizo todo esto posible por el espacio, nos ayudó con el almuerzo que se va a dar hoy y más adelante nos va a hablar de becas que existen para los estudiantes también.
Today, Karrie Trautman is from BCC, Financial Aid Office. She will be presenting in English, and I'd like to introduce Sandra Rodriguez-Aponte and Domenica Gomez. They are learning this workshop, and they will be available to answer questions in Spanish. So we can be bilingual today. If you have a question in Spanish, just raise your hand. English, Spanish, we can do both today.
Tenemos a Karrie Trautman del BCC que va a hacer la presentación de FAFSA, pero también está Domenica y está Sandra que van a estar disponibles para ayudarlos si necesitan más información o si tienen preguntas.
So we'll learn about the financial aid forms. Then Daisy will present about an online tool for college application organization. Amy will talk about scholarships. We'll have lunch. I hope you will stay for lunch. And in the afternoon, we'll have a workshop on college essays for those. Some of you will stay, and some new students will come in the afternoon as well.
También el orden de hoy es que Karrie va a hacer la presentación de FAFSA, después yo hago una presentación como ayudas o recursos para ayudarles con el proceso de aplicación, cómo manejar todo, y también después vamos a tener el almuerzo y después al final están bienvenidos de quedarse, vamos a hablar de los ensayos y el proceso de aplicación también.
We are recording this, but we are not recording you. We're only recording the presenters. So I want you also to feel comfortable if you have questions about your status, that this is a safe place to ask those questions as well. Or if you want to ask about that privately, you can talk to us about that, how that applies to you as well.
Y estamos grabando esta presentación, pero no los estamos grabando a ustedes, sino solamente la presentación de los que están hablando. Esto es un lugar seguro. Si tienen preguntas sobre de pronto para FAFSA, cómo llenar la aplicación, cosas como más personales, esto es un lugar seguro. Solamente pueden preguntar a Sandra, a Domenica, y ellos con mucho gusto pueden ayudar.
I also may be taking some photographs. If you would prefer that I don't take your photograph, it's okay to tell me, okay?
Ella va a tomar unas fotos para las redes sociales. Si no está de acuerdo que le tomen fotos, también nos pueden decir y nosotros no tomamos fotos.
Okay. There's food on the back table. There's some apples and some snacks if you would like them. If you want to get those before we begin, and then Karrie's ready to begin. Are you ready?
Yes.
Listo.
Que tenemos comida, están bienvenidos a agarrar si quieren comer mientras. Karrie nos va a hacer la presentación y vamos a empezar. Gracias.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everyone. We keep timing out.
You have to stand behind to turn it. It's turning on.
So everyone, so those of you who have the loaner computers, we've taken to studentaid.gov. For those of you who brought your own devices, we're just going to start off on studentaid.gov. That's a federal website. It talks about different types of aid that an individual can apply for. This is a national program. Federal financial aid is pretty much at any institution of higher education across the United States. So if you're looking at other options, whether it's BCC or MCLA or across the country, this is the same application that's used. When you go to college, every year you have to apply for the FAFSA. So every year that a student is going to school, whether it's their first year or all the way through their PhD or doctorate, you will be applying each and every year for this application. So you'll become very familiar with that. So just a quick understanding, so I know who would be starting school immediately, maybe in January at an institution, or is everybody here that's pretty much for the fall? So we're looking ahead to the fall September to go to college. September? Okay. So the application for the fall is not out yet, but we can start some of the process now, and we can go over general information that you'll need for the fall. The federal government anticipates sometime in December the application will be available. You typically apply for financial aid 6 months, 9 months, even a year in advance for when you actually need the money. So now would be the appropriate time to start thinking about applying for financial assistance for those of you who are planning on starting in September. Okay? Just want to point out a few things on the website. So again, it's just studentaid.gov. This is where you'll go every year to apply for aid. And so again, in December, we don't know the date yet, there's some overhaul of the actual application going on behind the scenes at the Department of Education level, and that's why we don't really know what date yet. But by December 31st, the application for September will be available. It is very important that the schools that you're looking at, there's usually deadlines for when the school would want this form completed. So you would want to make sure that if you are interested in schools, that you're checking their website or contacting the schools to find out if they have a deadline and making sure that you're meeting that deadline. Okay? So you can do that now. Schools that you're looking at for September, they should have their published deadline for when they require the application. Additionally, the sooner that you apply for financial aid, the more options and the more aid that you can qualify for. Institutions have limited pots of money for some programs, which means the sooner that you apply and get your application and meet those deadlines, the more aid that you could actually qualify for. The later that you wait in for applying, you could lose out on money that you potentially could have had, or schools may tell you that you cannot receive aid because you've missed a deadline. So definitely pay attention to those deadlines for applications. Additionally, you'll notice in the right-hand corner, this application is available and this website is available in both English and Spanish. So you can choose which you'd like, and it can be interchangeable. So at any point in time, you can switch between the two. So if you need to do that, feel free. Some information on the website. So primarily today, we're going to be talking about the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. This form is required, again, at all institutions, and it's a basis of applying for most programs. So Berkshire Taconic will talk to you later about their scholarships. They would like you to first and foremost apply for the FAFSA. And why that is because if you are entitled to free money from the federal government, we want to ensure that you're applying for that and that you're taking advantage of all the resources that are available to you. Now, this application will require either U.S. citizenship or eligible non-citizenship, which means you usually have to have a permanent residency number. If you do not have that, then you as a student, will not be able to complete the form, but we can talk to you about other forms of aid that you would need to do. If your parent does not have that status, that is fine, as long as you have the status and you are eligible to fill out the form. The main part of the application will take into account prior tax information. So we handed out some of the worksheets for you today. Those are the questions. Yes?
I didn't get out all the right page.
Okay.
So I'm going to come around. I only gave out one page. So I'm going to come around and make sure I'm going to pass two pages, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to come around and make sure.
These are the general questions that are asked of you on the application. These are the current year's application questions. They will change a little bit for the fall semester. It used to be that you currently would take your tax return and you would manually enter the information from your taxes. Moving forward, we're going to get that information directly from the IRS. So as long as you filed taxes, you're going to go out, you're going to put your information in, you're going to consent to having your information fed over, and your information will directly come from the IRS into the application. And that is if the filing taxes for both the student and the parent. Okay? So one of the main things when you do an application is it's asking you as a student if you're a dependent or independent student. A dependent student is someone who's under 24, not married, does not have children that they're paying or support, not a veteran in the armed forces or active duty, and someone who has not been under guardianship or foster care. If those are the circumstances for you, it will require parental information. If you are married or have one of those things that we just covered, then it will be your information, and then if you have a spouse, your spouse's information. Okay? On that worksheet, it will ask you a series of questions, and that will determine who you need to have to help you fill out the application with you. So with that, they use prior tax information. Prior means 2 years ago's tax return. So we are going to be for the fall semester using your 2022 tax information. If you were attending this academic year, it would have been your 2021 tax information. And why they do that is, again, because they're going to go out to the IRS and feed that information directly over into the application. And once that happens, they want to make sure that you've already filed your taxes. So given that it's been a year and a half since you should have filed out the tax returns, the majority of the population have already had them in. If you do not file, that is fine. It will still ask you if you have any income information, and it will go out and verify that you did not file. And then some untaxed income information will be asked of you. So if you receive child support or pay child support, those questions will be asked of you. But again, the sooner that you can get the application in, then it's likelihood of having your information processed and get the most aid that you can qualify for. Other information on this website, you do have to borrow. There's a student loan section next to the FAFSA, information about repayment, and then if you do have a student loan, about loan forgiveness options. But today, we'd like to really kind of go over the first step. The first step of applying, which you can do now for this fall semester, is filling out what's called the FSA ID. This is your electronic signature for the form. Now, who has to have an ID is everyone who's completing that application. So you as the student will have to create an FSA ID, and then your parent will have to create an FSA ID. And then if your parents file separately, both parents will have to have an FSA ID. Or if you have parents that are unmarried but reside together, both parents will have to have a FAFSA ID. And what does the FAFSA ID do? It's your electronic signature. And this electronic signature stays with you your entire education career. So every year when you apply for aid, that is your signature and that is your ID that you have. So it's very important that you save the password somewhere safe and have access to make sure that you remember what your information is and keep it secure. Additionally, with that FSA ID, in order to request it, you will have to have a unique to you, when you apply for the FSA ID, your social security number, an email, a phone number, and it has to be unique to you. So you and your parent cannot use the same email, and you and your parent cannot use the same phone number. It's unique to you and for identification purposes. Yes. The FAFSA ID, you have to have for each person, you have to use a separate email and a separate phone number. So it's going to go through an authentication process. So if you're familiar with like your bank or like a credit card, you have to go in and set up an account and then they email you or text message you back a secure code. It's very similar to that for the FSA ID. Okay? So with that, once you have it set up, that authentication process, you will go through, you have two options. You can have an email sent to you with a code and you'll email back and it's now secure, and you'll have a phone number where you can have a text message sent to yourself and then it will be able to authenticate you through that process. But the student and the parent have to independently create their own login and information. Okay? So why don't we start that right now if you haven't already done so. When you go into the student aid, so you should be on the website, and we're going to go down here to completing the FAFSA. And we're going to, you can, for informational purposes, you're welcome to go in, and it will start talking to you about those things for the application for the fall. And items that you should be having put together. If you'd like to get an estimate before the application comes out and kind of start thinking about what you would qualify for, that's the FAFSA estimator that's right here. You can do that before the application is started and is open. You can go in and begin. It's going to ask you about your household information, you as a student, how old you are, and what your adjusted gross income off your taxes for the student and the parent was for 2022, and it's going to give you an estimate of what you qualify in aid before the application comes out. So I do recommend for you to do that. Okay. But again, the application will be out sometime next month. So if we go into the form that's for this year, it's going to start asking you some general information. Who's filling out the application? Now, because you and the parent, for the majority of you, are going to have to fill out the application, then you're basically going to identify who's starting the application or where are you with the application. And again, you both have to fill out information together or independently, and then it will be merged together in the application. So if you have two devices or you go home in December, both of you can start, and you're going to identify who you are. Are you the student or are you the parent who's helping your student go to college? And so you're going to identify that, and then we're going to use the FSA ID that we create today to hopefully get in and have that application. If the student is required to have parental information and the parent doesn't complete the application, then that student's not going to qualify for aid. You both have to work in unison to have the application completed. Otherwise, there could be delays, and again, you could lose aid eligibility if it is not completed. Okay? So with that, if we look at just the student, this is where we're going to create an FSA ID. And yes, you're going to be leaving the FAFSA website, and you're going to go into the ID. And so we're going to go ahead and get started. So if all of you want to go ahead and get started, we will try to create that FSA ID. So you will need to have access to your email or your phone to get a text message for right now. If you're unable or you don't have a device today, that's completely fine. You can do this at home later on your own. And so Lori is also here from BCC, so we can walk around and assist you if you have any questions or concerns. So if you all want to start that process, we can see through. When you do the ID process, it's going to ask you a couple series of questions about yourself. It's going out and verifying that you are you. So it's going out to the Social Security Administration. It's verifying that your Social Security number belongs to you. It's also verifying for the next academic year, it's looking at like your credit report to verify that your TIN number or social security number matches to the report that matches with your address and your phone number and things like that. This is going to be the first step to doing the application. So you can go ahead and start adding your information. If you get stuck on anything, let us know and we'll come around and help you with the information. Okay? And then once the student has completed it, then the parent will want to complete it. It's okay, because moving forward in January, the governor recently announced the tuition equity program, which means as a non-citizen, you may qualify for in-state tuition at a Massachusetts public institution and also qualify for state funding. So to kind of go back, financial aid is broken down into several different categories. One is free money or grants and scholarships. A grant is usually an entitlement, and it has to do with your income or your household, like your parent income. A scholarship is usually given to you based on academic or some sort of talent. So Berkshire Taconic Foundation will talk to you about academic scholarships. Sometimes they're financial need related, but a lot of times they're also due to a major, your academic performance, a talent like a sport or music or art, something like that. That's free money that's given to you. In addition to federal money, there is state assistance and state scholarships and state programs. If you've been paying attention to the media lately, we talk about tuition equity program and state funding like Mass Reconnect, the nursing scholarship. One was just announced on Wednesday, which is the Mass Grant Plus expansion program. There is probably over 49 different state programs that will help students go to school if you're a Massachusetts resident and your parents a Massachusetts resident in a Massachusetts college or university. With that, an application will be released from the Massachusetts Finance Authority. It's OSFA. That application will ask you generally a lot of the same information on the FAFSA, but for those of you who are not a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, will be able to fill out that application directly. That application will ask the most important information about the tuition and equity is if you as the student have been attending a high school for 3 years in Massachusetts, and if you graduated or will graduate from a Massachusetts high school or HiSET or GED programs. Okay? So if that's your circumstances, then you'll be able to fill out that state application that will be released in January. And what that does is gives you an opportunity to have free grant money from Massachusetts while attending a Massachusetts school. Additionally, other colleges, so the college that you're looking at, may have separate applications or funding that's available to you as for your education with that institution. So there's what we call endowments or scholarship funds that help students. Sometimes it's in your admissions application. So when you apply to the college, they'll ask you general information and they'll consider you for scholarships. And sometimes it's a separate application process, meaning when you contact that school about applying, you'll want to ask them what is their financial aid application process or what is their scholarship application process. So sometimes it's with when you apply to the college and sometimes it's separate. At BCC, we have a BCC Foundation who offers scholarships to our students. It's a separate application that the student completes. So you as an individual may be applying for federal financial aid or state aid, and then also you'll be applying for separate programs directly through the college or university that you're looking at. If you didn't finish the FAFSA ID or don't have your information or still have to have another parent complete it, it's fine. It's okay. You have plenty of time to get it completed because, again, the majority of you won't be able to fill out the application until December or January. The most important thing is that by the end of January that you have this information completed and submitted to the federal processor, or that state application will be released and you'll be able to do the state form. Okay? So that's free money. Then there are student loans which have to be paid back. There are loans that the student takes out, or loans that the parent takes out, or a combination of both. So you always want to pay attention to the information that comes and ask questions of the college if you don't understand. Okay? Another thing with scholarships that a college is going to give you, you want to know there's usually requirements the student will have to do or maintain in order to have the funding continue on while they're at the school. So you would want to make sure that you have conversations with the financial aid office or the scholarship office about if something is given to you, what are the requirements to keep that funding. Similar with the federal and state programs, there are requirements as you as a student who are attending to keep that money or not owe that money back to the college or to the entity that gave it to you. So there's academic progress, which means that you're completing your classes, you're moving forward with your degree. If something ever happens to you while you're attending, have those conversations about if you're not doing well in classes or if you have an emergency and have to leave college, because there's always financial consequences because of not completing the programs, okay? Or you may have to maintain certain grade point averages to keep, so certain grades in order to keep that money, okay? So there's free money, there's loans. There's also work programs. The federal government offers a work study program where you work and earn money as you go through the school. So the colleges will send you award package information. Make sure you look at that. There is lots of information once you do start getting those award information from the colleges about what they're offering you or what you qualify for. If you are unsure what they're saying, you can contact the school directly, or you're welcome to come to other schools. Like you can come to MCLA or you can come see me at BCC and say, I don't understand what they've given me. Can you explain this to me? And then we can go over it. Is this money that you're borrowing? Is this money that's free? Is this a combination of both? And can you truly afford the schools that you're looking at? Okay? So there's lots of information, lots of complications, but you as a student and a parent should always be comfortable with the decisions that you're making and always be able to ask those questions if you're not understanding the materials that's been given to you. Okay. Are there questions with that? A lot of information that we've put at you. So like at BCC for myself and Lori that is not here, in December, we'll be off when the application comes out, and then in January and February, the college offers times that you can come in and fill out the application line by line or have us review the information, regardless if you're coming to us or not. So today is kind of a, you're putting your foot in the water and you're trying to understand or being prepared for the application process. Starting that access for the FSA ID so that in December you're prepared and ready to start the application process. But again, we're still here after today to help you with that process or help you get through the information. So always use your contact within the community with Lee or BCC or even MCLA to ask questions and getting through the application process. There are multiple sources of funding and multiple different agencies that will help you with your education. So the earlier you prepare, the earlier that you apply for things, then the more options you will have to help fund your education. The application for the FAFSA, you can list 10 different schools. So if you're unsure where you're going to, you can list multiple schools on there. I usually recommend students do about 3. Do something that's close to home, that you have a fallback or that you're comfortable with. If you're not ready to leave home, have a state school, have a private school, and then compare what type of funding that institution is giving you. And again, if you have questions about it, always feel free to ask the college. If you're not getting a response from the colleges that you're looking at, make sure that you reach out to a financial aid professional in the community to go over that information. All right, so if we want to get back to the information, I also want to show you that state information and the state programs that, sorry we keep timing out. So if you go to the mass.gov, this is going to talk to you about those Massachusetts financial aid programs and a lot of the programs that have been in the media lately. So it's going to list the grants and the scholarships and the different programs, and then it will tell you, so if any of you in high school have taken the MCAS and you've maybe been contacted by your high school about the John and Abigail Adams Award, or one of the other programs that your school has already notified you of. So you're welcome to go. Again, it's just mass.gov. So if you're looking at an institution in Massachusetts, regardless of your citizenship, this is something that you'd want to look into. So mass.gov. This is other programs. For those of you who are citizens, you can stack the money. So you can get free money from the federal government, you can get free money from the state, you can get free money from the school. The idea is that you're getting all the assistance to help you pay for your education, and then if you have unmet costs, to look at student loans or work programs. Is it item or okay. So the Massachusetts funding, again, what your hopes are and goals are is that we're helping you get as much funding as you can to help pay for your education so that we can lessen the burden of borrowing or working while you're in school, right? Each year when you reapply for aid, it will change. So each year that you go to school, you may qualify for different funding. Loan amounts increase based on the further you get into your education. And grants will vary depending on income. So if your taxes vary from year to year, chances are your grants will also vary. It's only if you do not qualify to fill out the FAFSA, will you have to do the separate application with the state. So when you're looking at those schools, make sure that you understand and ask questions. Is the CSS profile required for the institution? Again, it's usually your elite, your private schools that will ask for that application. That application is more in-depth than the FAFSA application. It will talk about housing, the value of your home, your assets. It will talk about retirement accounts, and it will ask for both parent information. So if you need assistance with that. The CSS profile is actually available now. So if you do look at one of those schools that's a private school and it says that you have to have the CSS profile, you can start that application immediately. You do not have to wait for your FAFSA application next month. All right. And so that's just kind of something that when you look at the school or if you get communication back from the school and they tell you, the CSS profile is another financial aid application, but it's limited. There's only about 180 schools across the United States that will require that form. But if you are looking at a private institution, you'll want to ask them if you have to fill out that application. And that will ask for both the student and parent information, just like the FAFSA. But it will ask more in-depth questions than actually the FAFSA will ever ask you. And if you need assistance with that, certainly let us know.
Hacer internados o internships, como se dicen. Y también, ¿cuál es la misión de la escuela? ¿A qué le importa la escuela? ¿Cuál es la cultura? ¿Cuáles son las tradiciones? Cosas que se alinean con sus valores, de pronto, cosas que te importan en una escuela. Entonces, acá tengo un ejemplo, Santa Clara, la Universidad de Santa Clara, un aspecto social, lo que ofrece como el grupo de gobierno de estudiantes. Porque como yo voy a participar, porque es importante para mí, porque soy un estudiante de high school que me gustan las cosas como civiles, sobre gobiernos. Y bueno, es una lista que puedes llenar. También puedes ver como soy un estudiante de primera generación, me importa mucho como las cosas culturales, como los diferentes partes de la escuela, lo que hacen en una escuela. Entonces pueden llenar esta lista con el aspecto de la universidad, lo que ofrece la universidad y cómo usted como estudiante, cómo vas a contribuir o cómo vas a unirte a este esfuerzo. So very quickly, I'll say it in English. Basically, it's a list that you guys can look at when you're researching schools, like kind of about what the school's mission is, like different like academic, social pieces. You guys can fill it out with the universities you look up, and whatever works for you. It's a tool that helped me when I was looking at colleges last year. So if it works for you, it's also a really great resource. Esto está en línea, pero algo que me ayudó bastante también cuando estaba mirando universidades es hacer una lista de todas las universidades, la escuela, dónde queda localizado, cuándo es la fecha de límite para aplicar, cómo aplicas, por Common App o por una aplicación online, qué tienes que entregar cuando vayas a aplicar, por ejemplo, un ensayo de cuántas palabras son, porque es muy importante considerar estas cosas cuando uno va a aplicar, porque le piden ensayos y saber cómo la cantidad de palabras, también si necesitan ensayos adicionales, cuántas, si necesitan que manden como resultados de evaluaciones de parte de la escuela, como el SAT o ASCT, a veces son opcionales, a veces no. Entonces, esto es algo que se puede acceder online, puedes llenar las escuelas y en el listado también. So again, this is like an application deadline tracker. If you want to fill out the schools, the location, deadline, how to apply, all those other things, it's a really helpful tool as well. Y lo tengo en español y en inglés también. Ahorita les ayudo a buscarlo de Google Classroom también. Tenemos cartas de recomendación para pedirlos. Acá tengo una forma también se los entregué. Es cómo preguntar por cartas de recomendaciones, que es algo muy importante en las aplicaciones para profesores, para otras personas de la escuela. Entonces acá es cómo puedes preguntarle a un profesor para una carta de recomendación, lo que necesitas, de pronto lo que necesitas mandarles a la hora de preguntarles por una carta, como una copia de su resumen, como una lista de colegios, universidades, y también esto es un correo electrónico que les puedes mandar. Por ejemplo, gracias por ayudarme a escribir una carta de recomendación. Sé que estás ocupado y lo aprecio que me hayas querido escribir una carta. Tengo un folder con cosas con mi resumen, con las escuelas, universidades que quiero aplicar, mi essay y por qué quiero que escribas esta carta. Mi primer deadline, que es muy importante decirles que cuándo es la fecha de límite para tu aplicación, porque a veces se demoran. Decirle, mi primer fecha de límite para mi aplicación es tal. Yo te puedo mandar un correo electrónico como de seguimiento, como para recordarte otra vez si es beneficioso. Gracias otra vez por ayudarme a hacer esto y después atentamente el nombre del estudiante. Aquí son unos ejemplos porque decidí que usted fuera la persona que me escribiera esta carta de recomendación. 3 ejemplos del trabajo que hice en su clase, cómo me viste cambiar como estudiante y un tiempo como cuando me diste un consejo o cuando me ayudaste y cómo cambié como estudiante. Entonces, son todos estos materiales y recursos que están disponibles para los estudiantes, pero espero sean útiles y que lo puedan utilizar. Entonces, eso era todo en mi presentación. También tengo lo mismo para, esperé antes de que para becas también. Acá tengo un listado de becas que les pueden ayudar. Está el Berkshire Taconic Foundation. Esta aplicación es para las personas que de pronto no tienen sus documentos o son inmigrantes. Aquí hay una lista de becas también que les puede servir para escuelas vocacionales, para los que estudien como el Monument también. Entonces aquí pueden conseguir toda esa información. Igualmente, tengo una lista de cómo pueden buscar becas, llenar la información de lo que se requiere y pueden tener como un orden también. Entonces, espero les ayude.
Okay, hello everyone. Would it want to take turns and translate as I go? Yeah. My name is Amy, and I work in the community foundation, and my work is to bring scholarship resources out to the community. So I'm in the right place, yeah? Okay. So it's a pleasure to be here, and I'd like to just start to describe that there are some students who are in high school who are planning to go on to college. And so we have scholarships for people planning to go to college.
Ella se llama Amy Taylor, ella es de la fundación de Berkshire Taconic. Ella viene a hablar para becas para estudiantes de high school y que se van a graduar.
And there are some students who are adult learners who are maybe 24, 25 years old and up, who may be going to college.
También hay becas para las personas adultos como de 25 años o más, en sus 20 o más, y también tienen becas para los que quieren continuar con sus estudios.
And there are some students who are studying vocations like becoming an auto mechanic, machining tech mechanic, a hair stylist, other vocational training programs at BCC or other local places. And vocational students can be either in high school now or adult learners.
También tienen becas para los que quieren estudiar algo vocacional, como carpintería, como mecánica. Tienen becas también para los que están en high school o los que también son adultos y quieren continuar con sus estudios.
And sometimes there are all three in one family.
Y de pronto hay varios en una misma familia que quieren estudiar y que pueden tener becas también.
Yeah. Yes. So, yes, we have So we want to make sure that you know that we have scholarships at the foundation for everybody, for all of those pathways. Yes?
Ella quiere que todos sepan que tienen becas para casi todos los casos, lo único es aplicar para saber cuál beca.
So these scholarships are, yes?
Para los que no saben qué es una beca es como dinero que le da una organización como la fundación que no es un préstamo y no lo tienes que pagar, es dinero que se le da al estudiante que reciben para sus estudios.
So these scholarships have been created by people in this community. And usually because maybe someone has died and a family or the community wants to build a way to honor a person's life.
Usualmente estas becas son hechas por personas que vivieron en la comunidad, que fallecieron y ponen este dinero como en un fondo para que estudiantes de la comunidad puedan aplicar y tener ese dinero para sus estudios.
So these scholarships are not only for one kind of student. They are really for celebrating different strengths, different ways of learning, and different careers.
So, de pronto hubo una persona que fue maestro o personas que fueron enfermeras que quisieron dar como dinero para ese fondo para becas. Entonces, hay varios becas para varios estudiantes y de diferentes carreras.
So, this is our website, berkshiretaconic.org. Okay, and this is how to apply. There are many grants for all sorts of work, but for studies, we do scholarships. There's some of our students. They're brilliant. And so from the top, there are over 85 scholarship funds that will give about 300 scholarship awards. The smallest award is $1,000, and the largest is actually $100,000.
Okay, so tiene más de 80 scholarships para un estudiante y dan como más de 300 becas al año. La más pequeña que tienen es de $1,000 y la más, esto que tienen es como de $100,000. Entonces hay variedad.
So I'm going to, I think, show you the application. And I think that this would give a chance to see it and ask me any questions while we're here. And I have my cards and information at the table in the back, and I welcome you and ask you to call me anytime with questions. The application I'm about to show you is for high school students. And right now it is in English. After January, it will also be available in Spanish. Yes?
Ahorita ella nos va a mostrar una aplicación para estudiantes de high school. Ahorita está en inglés, pero después de enero va a estar en español también. Va a estar disponible. Si tienen alguna pregunta, ella da bienvenida para que le pregunten ahorita, mientras que ella hace la presentación. O si se sienten más cómodos, ella también está en la silla de allá atrás. Si gustan hablar con ella después, ahí están sus tarjetas, su correo electrónico y su número.
So you would it'll bring you to that page, and you will set up an account like at Amazon or, anywhere. Just you'll set up an account, and then it'll bring you to here, and then it will take you to these questions. And so really you'll go through and circle and pick one answer at a time. And what I want you to see here is that the applications will be available because the government FAFSA is delayed. It will really be available by February 1st, and that will give you time to complete your FAFSA. And then these applications need to be submitted by March 15th. So there will be 6 weeks of time to complete the application.
Para esta aplicación, lo primero que tiene que hacer es crear una cuenta en la página que ellos tienen. Se abre el 1 de febrero y se cierra el 15 de marzo. Entonces, después de que llenen su FAFSA, pueden aplicar para la beca.
I want to also say that if you don't have FAFSA because of status or other reasons, we can still maybe have scholarship support available.
Si por alguna razón no pueden completar el FAFSA, también pueden buscar una manera de darle una beca. ¿Había una pregunta? Las fechas.
It will be February 1st, open, March 15th, closed.
1 de febrero se abre y se cierra el 15 de marzo, o sea, es el último mes que paga.
And then we will read applications and notify of awards by June 1st.
Okay. Después ellos te dan el resultado, como te dicen si te dan una beca o cuáles becas
In June.
en junio.
Okay. So we want to know where you heard of us. So you heard of us here, and the county that you live in. So some people live in. I think everyone here lives in Berkshire County, but we also serve Columbia County, and I can talk very loud. Should I talk very, very loud?
Que para los que viven en Massachusetts, en los Berkshires, pero también hay opciones para los que viven en Connecticut, también.
Yeah, and New York.
En Nueva York.
And then, so the questions, you click the one that fits for you. So someone here goes to here.
Someone here, I think, attends this school, yes, Mount Greylock Regional High School. I think some people here attend Lee, yeah, and maybe Monument. So you pick that one. Yes? Then, so if you are it's okay if you are a graduating high school student. If you are an adult learner, it's a different application and much simpler. Okay, and we don't have to have a certificate of graduation for the adult learner. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
how long you've lived here? If you are a first-generation student, yes.
Entonces te pregunta que cuánto tiempo has vivido acá en esta área, si eres estudiante de primera generación.
Okay. So these questions are not meant to be too personal. They are matching you. This one application matches you to 85 funds. So one application goes to 85 funds, and these questions match up. So one fund is for a women's fund. So if you are female, your application will go there. Yes?
Estas preguntas es como muy general, es una aplicación y es como por categorías, si eres mujer, de lo que quieres estudiar, entonces esta aplicación como te guía para las becas que calificas para.
So I will move down and through more quickly and show the very important parts. Yeah. So the town, and these are all towns. So we need you to have a resume and say your plans for your future.
Necesitan tener un resumen del estudiante, o sea, como la experiencia de trabajo, de voluntariados, cosas académicas, grupos que hacen parte de, y también saber como los planes de los estudiantes si quieren ir a una escuela vocacional, de qué grado están, cómo quieren estudiar tiempo completo o tiempo medio, part-time.
Yes.
And then your area of study. And so this doesn't have to be for sure. This may be your first plan. Then we know your plans may change as you go through school.
Si te hacen escoger como de qué quieres estudiar, como educación, pero también puede cambiar, o sea, no es algo como que es bien estricto, que tienes que estudiar eso o te niegan a beca, no, es como algo para que, como que tengan una idea de qué quieres estudiar.
So same with career goals. This is the financial need. So this will take the information from that the FAFSA sends back to you. So you'll complete the FAFSA. They will send you these numbers, and you will tell us then if there is more to your story, we should know. You would describe it here in writing. And then you'll say how many members in your household are in school. So there may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
Ok, entonces toma información del FAFSA, ya cuando la hayas llenado, toma como los números del FAFSA, te pregunta y lo tienes que ingresar en la aplicación. Si sientes que el FAFSA, el número que te dio, la información que te dio, no está como, no refleja bien tu situación, entonces puedes como describir un poco más a fondo en esta aplicación. También te va a preguntar que cuántos, si tienes por ejemplo hermanos más grandes que van a la universidad, te va a preguntar que cuántos en el año 2024 y 2025.
If some of the members are children, your dependents.
Y si cuidas de niños, que cuántos niños o personas dependientes se llaman.
So I know we are going to work on the essay of your application after we have lunch. I think you might all be getting hungry by now. So it's here, yay, okay. I don't want to stand between anyone and lunch. So this essay can be the same essay that you use in your college application, if you want.
Si requieren un ensayo, un ejemplo de escritura que hable un poquito de ti, del estudiante, puede ser el mismo que utilizas para aplicar a la universidad, o sea, el de Common App.
Or a piece of writing that demonstrates your strengths as a person, in your family, in your community, and in your school.
Yes.
Puede ser un ejemplo que de la escuela, un ensayo que hayas escrito para la escuela, para una clase también.
So these questions are so we can match opportunities.
También hace preguntas de deportes, si has participado en deportes, también esto va por categorías y te ayuda como a seleccionar becas.
And any artists?
Y también para los que les gustan el arte, también pueden entregar como ejemplos de arte que hayan hecho.
And any classical musicians?
Los que les gusta la música o estudian música también.
And golf, basketball, sports.
De deportes también, de básquetbol, de golf, todos esos deportes.
They're all just matching.
Igual son como calificaciones para las becas, los fondos que te dan al estudiante.
Students who live in Lee or attend Lee High School or Monument High School or Lenox or Mount Everett can apply for this. And it's an extra essay to describe how we have been of service to our world or to our communities, and how we put that above our own selves.
Yeah.
Entonces,
Maybe.
Yes.
Entonces, para los estudiantes del Monument, Lee y de Lenox, por ejemplo, pueden aplicar, y Mount Everett, los de Sheffield, pueden aplicar para esta beca. Es como de servicio a la comunidad, de voluntariados que hayan hecho, si están bien involucrados en su comunidad. Este es un ejemplo de una beca que pueden aplicar para.
¿Y los de Greenstone solo están?
Not this one.
No está en específico,
Many others, though.
pero hay muchos más para los de Williamstown.
More art.
Más arte.
And just agreement that you have completed, you understand the application, and a place to put your guidance counselor's name. This will send an email asking them to send your transcript of your high school grades, and then either your guidance counselor or your teachers who have written a letter of recommendation who speak to your good work.
Entonces piden el nombre del consejero de la escuela, el correo electrónico para que le puedan mandar un correo los de la organización, y le van a pedir como una forma de todas las calificaciones de high school, y ahí el consejero lo manda a esta organización. También, lo que les dije, las cartas de recomendaciones puede ser del consejero o también de un maestro. Tienen que hacer dos.
When you ask for your recommendation, and it's very important to pick someone who can write about your strengths and what you contribute to your class and your school. So not just someone who you know and maybe enjoy and have fun with, but someone who can speak to how hard you work, what you care about, and how you will make a good student in another college setting.
Para las cartas de recomendaciones de un profesor, es que sea alguien que te conozca, de pronto que conozca tu crecimiento a nivel académico o personal, que pueda hablar como de los aportes a la escuela y de lo que vayas a aportar a una universidad o otra escuela. Y también pide el correo electrónico de los que van a recomendarte.
And so that's it. You will you will click the submit, and it will come, and I will share the applications with volunteers in the community who know a lot about education, and the information on your application will be required by law to be private and confidential.
Ya después de que entregues la aplicación, todo pasa a voluntarios que leen y escogen las aplicaciones y los que van a ganar becas. Todo es confidencial y privado, no sale de los que leen las aplicaciones.
So in the next year, by July, we hope that we will give away about $900,000 to the community.
Y para julio ellos ya dan estos fondos que son como un estimado de $9,000 a la comunidad para estudiantes.
So if you are in the arts or in athletics or in environmental sciences or education or social work or vocational paths, we hope you applied.
Los que estudian arte o les gusta biología, los que van a estudiar algo vocacional, también hay fondos disponibles para ellos.
Because we have to match everyone with all of these funds, yes? And maybe, quite possibly, it will be you.
Que de lo que seas, que la edad que tengas o lo que estudies, que hay fondos disponibles y que quieren tratar de que todos tengan la oportunidad o acceso a estas becas.
Yes.
So, for afterward, how do people get the funds, or how does that work? Does it go directly to the school, or
Yes.
people?
Most of the scholarships, we will write an email that says, congratulations, you received a scholarship for this many dollars, $1,000 to $5,000. And then we will say, you can go back into your account and write a little thank you letter. So no need to do extra, other thank you letters. There's a place to put it in here. And then we'll ask you to send a copy of the tuition bill that you'll get from your school.
Okay, ya te notifican por correo electrónico, te dicen que cuántos le dieron en una beca. Después lo que tienes que hacer es, si requieren que otra vez ingreses, que mandes como una carta de agradecimiento, unas gracias, y ya que mandes una copia del recibo que te dio la universidad o el colegio, y ya ellos se encargan de ello.
And then we send the check directly to the school. And sometimes some people get many scholarships, and some people want to wait to use this scholarship until year 2, year 3, or year 4.
Ellos mandan el dinero a la universidad directamente, el cheque o el monto. También hay personas que pueden calificar por varias becas. Hay la opción de esperar para utilizar, no todo, si quieren, no todo se puede utilizar el primer año, se puede utilizar o se puede guardar para el segundo, tercer año o cuarto año de que estudien.
Just tell me and we'll hold it and get it next year.
Solamente le tienes que avisar a ella para cuando quieres utilizarlo y ellos lo guardan.
And then, very, very importantly, it's important to apply again the next year. Some scholarships are meant to be given for up to 4 years.
Que es muy importante de que traten de aplicar todos los años. Hay unas becas que son disponibles para los 4 años de que estudie un estudiante. Entonces, los 4 años de universidad hasta que complete.
We lose people once they go to school.
Y a veces la gente no aplica otra vez y pierden esas becas para ayudarlos. ¿Una pregunta?
Some are
Some are for graduate school, fewer. There are fewer. Most are for graduating high school seniors. But there are available scholarships for the vocational and the adult learners too. So it's important that if you fill out the one application, everything you're eligible for, it will be submitted there. Yeah, so you don't have to do 12, 15, 17, just one application. And we will send you your application to be considered for everything that you are eligible for.
universal.
Entonces, muy importante, no solamente es para los estudiantes de high school, solamente es llenar una aplicación y todo de lo que seas elegible para, te lo mandan y te dan opciones para becas que están disponibles.
Any other questions?
¿Hay otras preguntas?
You apply, this is just for, you mentioned New York, Connecticut, or national.
This is only for students in this community.
Yeah, we live here in the Berkshire.
Yes.
But we apply for the scholarship. Is that a scholarship applied for a university out of the Berkshire,
Yes.
like Florida,
Yes,
nationwide?
that's a good question. Yes.
Wherever you go to school, the money follows the student.
Yes.
That's so some students are, overseas, and some students are at the community colleges, Berkshire or Hudson Valley or Columbia Green. And one student is studying, learning how to fly planes at the Great Barrington Airport. So depending on what you are pursuing, your own dreams, if you win the scholarship, it will go with you.
No solamente las universidades que quedan aquí en los Berkshire son de esta área, para otros estados también, o si van a otro país, y también, o sea, el dinero, la beca, siga al estudiante donde quiera que esté.
Any other questions? I know lunch smells very good. Other questions? So if you have more questions, you are welcome to come stop. I'll be sitting at the table in the back, and take my card. And please call me with any questions. We really hope that you take the time to apply.
Que si tienen alguna pregunta, pero me gustaría mencionar que sé que hemos dicho universidades, esto también aplica para los que quieren estudiar en el BCC, en el Berkshire Community College. De hecho, tienen un fondo también. Do you have
Which one? Oh, the New World one, yes.
So there is one scholarship. It's called the New World Scholarship. It is for people who have come to are recent immigrants and are studying at Berkshire Community College. And we work with BCC. And so you can submit a special application there. And that also is it's a good scholarship too.
Para los que quieren estudiar en el BCC tienen una beca también. Son para los inmigrantes que viven aquí hace.
I think it's no more than a certain number of years. I think 5. I think it's soon after you come.
Que han vivido acá por 5 años, tienen aplicación de parte del BCC, entonces también pueden hacer preguntas sobre eso.
I will check. There's so many. I'll check the detail. And
there are other scholarships. We understand if you can't get financial aid from colleges, it can be very difficult, and so we encourage people to come and see what we have available and we are certainly here to try and provide support.
También otra vez para los que no pueden calificar para FAFSA, no pueden llenar, también ellos tienen opciones y becas disponibles. Es cuestión de hablar con ella y preguntarle qué es lo que hay disponible o qué manera ella le puede ayudar.
Any other questions? No?
I'll be at the table.
I'll be at the table.
Ella va a estar en la mesa ahí, entonces cualquier pregunta que tengan, pero muchas gracias. Thank you, Amy.